So we sometimes put in 2 weeks of work in a campaign that journalists would have to do otherwise. That's what they need. They need time. How do you give them time? Do the work that they would have to do. Go and scrape those websites like TripAdvisor, or go and filter those data sets, put them together on your team, create something, create a report, and give it to them ready made. That's what they want. So if you give them a very good work, and based on what they write about consistently, not just once a year or once in 2 years, consistently, then you will have a great success there.
I'm John Wright, and you're listening to Affiliate BI, the business intelligence and affiliate marketing podcast brought to you by StatsDrone. Welcome to the Affiliate BI podcast. Today we're chatting with Fery Kaszoni, who's not just one of the most interesting link builders I know. He's the first person to be featured twice on this podcast. He's the founder of the search intelligence agency, which specializes in digital PR. And I'm excited to talk about not just digital PR, but maybe some conflicting philosophies on what it is, how to do it right. So let's jump into branding and digital PR.
Awesome. I'm pumped. I'm glad to be here for the second time. And I'm ready to give it away. And let's as we talked before before the recording, we're like, let's just see some controversial opinions, because I do have some controversial opinions that might not resonate with the traditional status quo of digital PR. So let's do it.
I'm ready to be wrong. So my philosophy on digital PR is that I do think that it can and should be an extension of branding, but I think it also, I hate saying it because I just learned that in the SEO community, everyone says it depends. So how does it depend in digital PR? I think links they're sort of like an extension of branding. Like for me, for my company in StatsDrone, I'm like, well, if we can be mentioned in any capacity in the right context in affiliate marketing, I personally view that as positive branding. Now, if I'm talking about something controversial, then I still see it as branding. It's like, come to us for the discussion on affiliate marketing. But how do you see it differently, and where are people kind of maybe disagreeing with you?
I think when you say, digital PR, I want some branding, therefore let's do some digital PR. If people want to approach it that way, and that would be one of the main, strategies for branding, I don't think digital PR is an effective way to do branding. As you said, it is a touch point. So yeah, when we've done everything else in terms of branding, and we also want to just add some extra touch points, I think digital PR is great. But I don't think digital PR should be used as one of the main drivers of branding, because it's probably the worst place to spend your money. If you want to go and, I want branding, and then go and I'm going to do digital PR now, and that's going to explode my brand. When you get mentioned in the news outlets, most of the time, there might be some exceptions, right? But most of the time with digital PR and with any PR, people will usually forget about what they read in 10 minutes after reading, or even less after reading the post. So I think the branding aspect of digital PR is real, but it should not be, digital PR should not be, one of the main drivers of branding. When you've done, exponential video creation on all social channels, and when you've done, everything else in terms of branding, and thought leadership on various conferences and so on, and you want to add some extra touch points, then yes, you should do digital PR. But I think digital PR, the biggest value of digital PR is links, and that's why the industry exploded in the past 3 years, because SEOs have figured out, hey, these guest blogs, some of the inventory is getting thinner and thinner, and it's more difficult to actually get good quality sites that have a good reputation still intact. Therefore they found out, hey, it's digital PR, there's links there, let's divert some budgets from this $1 million a year budget that we have for link building. And by the way, people might think this is crazy, but $1 million a year for link building is nothing, as you might know, in iGaming especially, or in any competitive niche. That's nothing. So let's divert $250,000 per year to digital PR, because there's links there. I think the most valuable outcome of digital PR is links. And if you don't have links, I think the money is just being mostly wasted on digital PR. That's what I think, and that's what I see from our client base. Now, maybe some other people have some, different realities, and that might, that also might be true. But for my reality and for my little world and for our client base, the biggest value of digital PR is links, and branding is like an extra little, very minuscule kind of value that's there.
I maybe I wonder if other people maybe they put more weight and say that is actually branding. So they're actually saying they're respecting the branding aspect, but I mean it goes full circle. What people care about is legit traffic and improved search rankings. So if you're getting that, I mean those should be the primary goals. But I think if you've got branding as an extra benefit, then maybe another way to look at this is going, well, the digital PR done right is actually going to be the maximum value out of these links.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it comes like, yes, and it can be a massive value for branding. For example, you but through the links. So you get the links and consistent, not just, one campaign goes viral and you get 100 links once in a year, but you get consistent links every, month or 2 months or 3 months, or you get consistent links flowing to the website for like a long period of time. And those links will enhance your content on the website, where you are a thought leader in your industry and you create informational articles. That's where the impact of digital PR can also be further amplified as a massive branding machine, where it amplifies your website's authority so that your info content ranks high. It's not going to be your sales content, but your thought leadership content on, let's say, if you are selling I know pet supplies, you can be the pet expert in your field that helps hundreds of thousands of people on Google with the info content. And that's branding. You don't sell there, you build a brand, you build a love, you build a community. And that's another powerful branding effect through the links. But if you don't have the links, then it's just a brand mention once in a newspaper or a few times in a newspaper, and people forget about you. But if you have the links, then they amplify your extra branding assets as well that you have on the website.
Would you say that it's probably possible to monitor or measure, but maybe it's difficult to measure the impact of these digital PR campaigns where you do them and you've got a campaign and let's say it creates like 50 links. But I'm assuming that when those 50 links happen, sometimes they can catch wind and they could actually lead to another 5 links. But those don't happen instantly. They might actually happen over a span of a year. And you never know if one of those links is going to lead to someone messaging you in LinkedIn. And we're not always taking the time to go, how did you hear about us? Or I heard about you with some random blog that I had no business dealing with, and that's the first time I've heard of you. Or maybe that's the 14th time they heard of you, and then that's led to them being, I thought I was going to buy from you, but now I'm ready to do this.
Yeah, yeah, that's branding, right? That's kind of branding. And but I don't think any activity, like most, apart from like CPC where you have direct clicks and you can measure everything, I think branding, building, like brand building activities such as posting on social media, or such as with digital PR or so on, cannot really be measured directly accurately with like 100% or even like 50% accuracy. Because as you said, how do you measure the fact that people have seen you on a thousand other places before they made a decision, and they forgot about all of those specific places, but they remember just you? And when you ask them, where do you come from us, they will not be like, well, I've seen you on this blog and that blog and that blog and that blog, and it fed my subconscious mind so that I can remember you when I need your service. They will not be doing that, right? So many things are not measurable directly. Most of the things in marketing actually are not like directly measurable. You can measure, I've spent 500 grand per year, like last year, on on these activities, and the cumulative effect of them was I've doubled my revenue compared to last year. That's something that you can kind of measure, but not like directly. I've launched this campaign and then it got me this, exactly this amount or whatever, right?
Right. Okay, let's keep the conversation going on the controversial topics.
Mm.
We obviously know what parasite SEO is. Now, How would you say digital PR could be like the white hat version of Parasite SEO?
It would be very hard to actually create a content. So if you are referring to, let's say, an example, I'm going to give an example, but then maybe if that's not the case, then I would, like you to give your example. So if you are referring to, let's say, you launch a campaign and the campaign ends up in like the New York Post, and then that will start ranking, and then that's how you would get leads. Is that what you refer to?
That would be one example. Like,
Yeah.
if you can create an article that, I mean, in a perfect world, I'm looking at targeting things like SEO affiliate programs. That's very specific, and I I don't see how else I'm going to get like the New York Post to actually write about that content, like with those specific keywords. But I
Yeah,
mean,
they would not write. Yeah.
maybe this is the next best thing where it's like if I can get them talking about SEO affiliate, then maybe that's still a good extension where they're going to capture a certain audience, and then it's like, well, how am I getting them to talk about a certain
Yeah,
topic
that's
and then
that
linking?
that's why digital PR is like hard. You don't like get people to talk about, topics that you want. You have to almost adapt to what they want to talk about and then give them what they need with digital. That's kind of digital. That's the most of the I mean, there's lots of other types of digital PR that you can do, but like 98% of digital PR is, resonate with the news agenda,
Yeah.
and then give them something that they want, because they will want to cover something, something about that topic. So affiliate, SEO, they don't really write about those topics because they know, like who cares, out of the, hundreds of millions of readers that they have, like very few people would actually get to click on that, a very small fraction of their audience. Therefore, you will, from my knowledge so far, you would find it very hard to, almost like hack, uh, like the news agenda with the agenda that you want, and just to recreate a parasite SEO kind of, almost like cloak parasite SEO. I would, I mean, if somebody ever does it, please let me know. But so far, I don't think that would be very doable, and doable in like a systematic, replicable way.
Would you have to do it like on a one-on-one basis, not like on a campaign that creates 50 links? It would have to be one link, and you'd have to be lucky enough to like befriend a journalist. Let's say it's, Business Insider. You'd have to magically convince them that they're going to write about this topic, and then somehow it's going to link to you. I guess that would be the only other way.
Yeah, yeah. They know this thing. Like they can smell it out what you want.
Right.
They would smell your intentions from, like, I mean, that would be ideal. But then I don't think they would ever do it for free as well. And if you have to pay for it, then it's like stops being PR. Then it
Okay.
becomes like a paid sponsorship.
All right. Well, let's keep the controversy going. Well, what if you were to pay that journalist and they took money on the side? I'm assuming this happens all the time, and I've heard this
Oh,
from
it does.
friends. So,
Yeah.
would that be one way in which you could do it where it's like, look, we'll charge you this fee, it's under the table. If the link gets removed, I can't guarantee it stays up forever. And you got to just hope that if you're the one buying this, that it basically gets undetected. And hopefully, it's such a good article that it doesn't seem promotional. I think that would probably be your only way of actually achieving that.
Yeah, exactly. And I know that many people do that, and it works. Actually, it actually works. It will cost you, some money, but it does work. And that's been the main driver probably of the parasite SEO as well,
Right.
right? That's been kind of, it then stops being digital PR. So once you do like a monetary or any incentive, or exchange to the journalist, then that's not PR anymore. That is, paid promotions, or guest posts, or whatever, paid guest blogs, and so on. So
Yeah.
digital PR ceases to exist whenever you take the money out of your pocket. Then digital PR fades out and it changes to something else.
So it looks like white hat link building, but
Yeah.
it's really not white hat at all.
No, it's like black pocket, link building.
Yeah.
Because you have to pay. You pay. Yeah, it is definitely black hat if you pay for the link.
And I wonder if anyone's got any insights of like how big this industry is because we all see the links. Like you go through Ahrefs or any link tool and you're like, you just see the links in front of your face. You're like, oh, let me filter by like the highest one. You're like, how did they get this one?
Yeah,
And then,
there's
you know,
probably millions of dollars a year, or even more, tens
maybe
of
a
millions,
day.
maybe. Yeah, or they, yeah, yeah. It. I know it's a big industry. Like as you said, we can see it everywhere. So, and you know, yeah. I mean, it can work.
So what you mentioned before, I think is kind of like it's going full circle into your business that you said that you need to think about the audience. And when I talk about the audience, it's basically the journalist, the person that's going to pick up your story. So I'm guessing the reason why you've got a lot of success is because you intentionally understand this. And for some reason, it seems like most link builders or even affiliate marketers or any marketers, they're just kind of oblivious to it. Like they're like, why won't you write about my amazing content? And it's like, well, I have this job to do. And maybe that's why you've actually got the success because you take the time to listen.
Yeah, yeah. Like that. That's the key. Just give them what they want. Find out first what they want, not what you want, but give them what they want. And what do they want? They want interesting research that resonates with their style, with their work. So if you look at what they have written about, in the past 6 months, then you can have a good idea of exactly what they want. Once you have that, then give it to them like selflessly, and give them expert quotes, give them, then just spend a week or two on a big data research that we all like we continuously have like 20, 30 data campaigns, or even more, that's relying just on big data sets that the team is working on. So we sometimes put in 2 weeks of work in a campaign that journalists would have to do otherwise. That's what they need. They need time. How do you give them time? Do the work that they would have to do. Go and scrape those websites like TripAdvisor, or go and filter those data sets, put them together on your team, create something, create a report, and give it to them ready made. That's what they want. So if you give them a very good work, and based on what they write about consistently, not just once a year or once in 2 years, consistently, then you will have a great success there.
Okay. I know we did a small example of this where for our app, we're basically listing all the affiliate programs we work with in a specific niche. So right now we have gambling covered. We have 1,300, and we are actually we kind of monitor a certain amount of data. So we know which affiliate software each program is using. Now, we weren't sure if this was going to be interesting. We're like, okay, is it a big deal? Well, the software companies actually were like, can we have that list every month? So we're like,
Yeah.
okay, sure, whatever. We're doing deals to help each other. So it's amazing. And one of the companies that happened to be the number one software supplier in the market, they published the list that said, we're the number one most used affiliate software in iGaming. And they said, according to StatsDrone. So for us,
Why?
we had 20 mentions in 20 different blogs. You're probably going to hate me for saying this. I haven't chased them all down for, hey, could you attribute the stats shown and link back to us? I think we got like 3 out of 20 naturally, which was that's not bad. But I think that's a good example of going, well,
Yes.
what are ways you can do this? And this just happened. Like they
That's
did all the
ego
work.
baiting. Ego
Yeah.
baiting is one of the best ways to get links, right? Like create a list, with like a credible list with a credible methodology, and people will want to share, like, oh, we've been named, number 5 on this list. It's ego baiting, and it always works. It works the same with journalists when you pitch something about their location. Like if they say, oh, this location is like the best for retiring early, journalists from that area will always cover it. Like from the top 3, they will always cover it, because they are like, it's ego baiting. Oh, like we're going to write about our area, and we know that our readers are going to click on it, because it's like, it feeds the ego, like, oh, we are like the best.
So that's why awards are always important because I've heard SEOs say that awards are a big factor, and it's like, well, why? And well, I think we know why. They generate links, but
Yeah,
I think
you
I
need.
think this is feeding the PR machine. It's feeding social. It's feeding link building. It's feeding brand mentions, and this is why everyone goes crazy. Like we just won an big industry award back in February, like best tech for affiliates from the IGB affiliate awards, and for us, it like the link building that happened naturally was pretty
Yeah.
immense. we picked up on it. We were like, okay, what can we do to amplify it? So we wrote our own articles. We actually, it's funny enough, you're talking about ego baiting. I mentioned all the other winners and I got
Uh,
quotes from them and I republished articles and they're like, thank you for that. And
yep,
those actually picked up even more links on top of it.
it works. It works.
That's very, very on point. So we sort of chatted before recording that business is booming. So with all the changes and disruptions happening with Google of like, the helpful content update, and I'm losing track of all the names of the updates. Like everyone's getting shaken down. Things are going up and then recovering or not recovering at all. And when I was at Brighton, I was like, the biggest beneficiaries of all this new business for SEO are going to be the people that do video content because they're trustworthy. And I think there's two things here. It's because a person like you is very personable and very social and on video, you're going to get more of the business. And I think people are going to realize, wait a minute, the way of doing SEO in the past is actually being transformed right in front of us. And you as a thought leader and other people that we know have been doing this for quite some time. And I think people are going to be, wait a minute, I don't know who to trust, but it's now going to be you. So how is business doing?
Yeah, it's we are continuously hiring. It's like the demand is higher than ever for digital PR, and I'm not sure whether it's the industry or as you said, my personal brand just being out there. But it's great. Like we are even like pushing back with clients because we want to catch your breath, so we make the systems and the processes more efficient. So we want to double the KPIs of our team members, but without doubling their workload. So we want to double the output, so that we can serve even more clients. So we are literally, I'm putting off the meetings for like next month, because we need a bit of a time to catch your breath, polish up the systems, because when you have this influx of like unlimited leads, it's like a tap where you have to sometimes just put a hold on it, but they can still keep on coming. um, and yeah, business is like crazy. I think Google did help us with the helpful content update and all the other updates that have obliterated like small sites recently. Because what is a small site? A small site is a site with less links. That's what a small site is. um I made a post, I'm not sure you might have seen it, about um Google is right. Small websites started dominating page one for competitive keywords. And I put in like best mattress 2024, and I said like DR20, DR11, DR39, and it was sarcastic post about Forbes.com number one DR20. So like the small low DR size dominate page
Yeah.
one for every search term. Well, actually, the sites that dominate are the ones that have great authority. They have a massive link profile, with like genuine quality links. And and I think that's kind of the fact that Google has punished those small you know websites with no link profiles, made like a big alarm sound in the industry, like, hey, you need more links. And they do, like the facts are on Google. Like, it's not like the small little sites that have the best content or like the best technical SEO. By the way, that's also needed. I'm not saying that's not needed, but it's the sites that have great technical SEO, great content, but also a great link profile. So this situation kind of made us really, and I think the whole digital PR industry is booming now.
Yeah, I noticed that the UK economy increased by 0.6% from January till March. So
Exactly.
I know a lot of that was probably due to your link
Yeah.
building efforts,
It was
your business picking up and your clients benefiting from it.
exactly. We took the UK economy out of recession, because we exported so much digital PR in the first quarter of the year.
Okay.
Mm.
I don't think I'm going to get to all my questions because I've got all these new questions here. We're going off on a
Oh
tangent,
boy,
and
that's
I
good.
love
That's
it.
good.
So, would you say that affiliates and SaaS companies and everyone else, that maybe if they don't have the budget, they should consider investment, because the link building and the digital PR, like you said, you just used a perfect example going, if you don't have authority, Google's looking for those signals. And if you can't build them naturally should people be actually seriously considering raising?
I would say, if they don't have the money, they either, invest, or they find other channels as well. Like, it's not just probably SEO. For every, like, there are some channels where SEO is the main driver, but maybe they want to do some other channels that are, if they don't have the money, they can just use maybe, human resources, and just create, I know, viral videos. Just use creativity internally, instead of investing in SEO. Like, our company, I never invested in SEO for the main website. I do invest in SEO in like other, websites that I own, but not for the main, lead generation and kind of the search intelligence website, because we don't need that. We have creativity internally that, yeah, that drives, millions to our business with, parody videos and funny, sarcastic posts on LinkedIn and so on. So maybe they have to find another way if they don't have the money, or if they do want to play the game like the big guys, then they will need probably to raise money. Indeed, yes.
Okay, that's a pretty fair answer because you could have easily said, "No, you have to raise money and then, use that money to obviously, go to search intelligence." But, my perfect example, it's like, we're a bootstrap company. We did raise an initial round and we've really not had much of a budget for link building. So I said, we got to get creative. And when you get creative and you're desperate, you will make things happen.
Yeah, of course.
But now when I see the value of this, I'm like, well, maybe we should actually do another round so we can actually do this. And that was actually another one of my questions. What would you say a SaaS company should maybe consider putting aside for not just like an SEO consultant, whether it's whether you outsource it or you do in-house, but also a link building budget? I think you mentioned previously, you said like $1 million's not a big deal, like for over a year.
Yeah, well, it depends on the stage where the company is at, right? So if it's like a well-established SaaS company, yeah, go for the million a year, right? But if it's a smaller one, like most of them are, right? Most of the SaaS businesses are like small businesses, almost making no profits because they just burn money back into product development, or whatever, right? Or they've just developed the product, but they still, they still don't have enough traction with ARR. Um, uh, I think it depends. They can have, budgets of like £2,000, and they can start with guest blogs. They don't have to start with digital PR. They can start with like guest blogs if they have lower budget until they start getting some traction. Um, or they can have, I think a healthy budget would be probably 10, 15 grand, where they do, one digital PR campaign a month, and then they do some other link building as well, like guest blogs and so on. Um, I think any budget would just get them would have the chance to get them traction. So be they have to be very careful when they invest in anything, and even in SEO, because um, the only thing to guarantee, clicks, sales, is PPC, and maybe not even that. But with SEO, you might invest, £500,000, and you might not have, the growth that you expected, because it's not just the links. It's not just, it's also the competitors. So it's not just you as a factor in, the rankings on the website. It's not just what you do on your website. That's the factor, which, by the way, those are like very complex factors, like not just link building, but link building combined with technical SEO and with, like proper topical clusters, like well written, content, and well serving the search intent well. So that's just the on-site factors where you invest maybe, I don't know, 500,000 a year. But it's not just that. That's not going to guarantee anything. What if all your competitors will invest another million, instead of 500,000? So then your £500,000 becomes like a small budget, and then yes, you invested money, but then you didn't consider that your competitors also invest money. So maybe you move the needle a little bit, or like you move the needle, but your competitors move the needle more, and they push you down. So any investment into SEO should be, taken as something that's got chances and got lots of chances to win. But it should not be like, oh, I'm going to invest this and like 100% I'm going to, smash it, because it's not the case even with any big website.
I'm From a lot of my competition, I don't think a lot of them are actually doing substantial digital PR, which for me, if I if we decide to invest in that space, I think it becomes a big advantage. And I actually
Indeed.
think most of them aren't always paying attention to my podcast. So it might be an advantage. But I'm thinking out loud. If we started doing this, let's say 1 to 2 years ago, my opinion is, and I want your take on it, maybe we'd be in a different position because it'd be a lot of money to invest. So it'd be like, okay, that's a deficit. But let's say we raised money for it. But if we ever wanted companies like the bigger companies that could either potentially acquire us, I think we've not been on their radar yet. And we're just starting to get on the radar from the podcasts and social media and intros. But I'm wondering if we did all this stuff early on, we would have been more top of mind. We might have actually had bigger customers come on board earlier. And maybe it would have been the best investment to plant the seed, which we'd have like, a full garden today.
Is the organic channel a main acquisition channel for you? Like, is it a good like a good client generating channel?
Oh, that's a good question. I think the podcast is helping quite a bit. LinkedIn, for sure, is personally helping quite a bit. I know I'm connecting with a lot of people, going to conferences and just being top of mind. And we're very aware of the bottom of funnel content that's starting to work. And we've realized we need to tap into it more. What's weird is like as soon as we started saying us versus our competitors and actively naming them, it's actually seemed to flip a switch. People started trusting us more because like, oh, you're not afraid to talk about your competition. And then we started realizing, well, what keywords do affiliates actually care about? And I'll give you an example. So we started talking about how to connect the API of affiliate programs to get your data from there. Well, we do that as a service, but people were actually looking for it to do it on their own. And they're like,
Yeah.
we had no idea you existed. So my research says that affiliates are problem aware, but not solution aware.
Mm.
And maybe we're going to get into a potential client discussion here where I think maybe 1 to 2% of affiliates worldwide will use a stats app like us or our competitors. But simply put, the 99% of the business have no idea. Like we're affiliate stats aggregator. You're not searching for that. It's
Yeah.
it's a it's
Yeah.
a mouthful. And even if we use affiliate CRM, it's like, well, what is that? I still don't come to you guys and say, here's my problem. I'm going to search for affiliate CRM to solve it. Problem aware,
Indeed.
not solution aware.
Indeed. Indeed. So if you come up with solution content, right? You'll grab lots of eyeballs and lots of you'll build brand. Um, yeah, with or like through the organic channel. So
Okay.
yes, if you would have started, maybe you would be um, maybe you would be like way ahead. But yeah, I mean, you would have been more ahead if you would have started, like a more aggressive content creation and link
Yeah.
building, not just our digital PR or like anyone's digital PR, but also other types of link building as well.
Yeah, we're looking at putting together the budget for stepping on the gas for content, stepping on the gas for the digital PR. So that actually leads to another question. I wrote this down as multiple notes. What can we do as a company? So if we wanted to be a customer of yours and say we want to do digital PR, but we want the maximum effect, I think you mentioned creativity and data. So what can we do to make your job easier, whether it's easier or maximizing the impact?
So just stay out of our way, stand out of our way. That's what our clients can do as easiest. Um, the most difficult campaigns are when the client wants to get involved too much and they
Right.
think they know their industry, and they do know the industry better than us, but the success of a digital PR campaign is not predicated on how well you know the industry. It's predicated on how well you know the news agenda, and that's the most important thing. So when we don't have that too much now. We still have, some cases where we have to go in like more meetings and explain. But initially, when I was not as good at explaining at the onboarding, stage to the client that hey, if you are a client that sells mattresses, we are not going to talk about mattresses because nobody ever writes every week or every month about mattresses. We'll talk about sleep, which
Sleep.
is not
Yeah.
exactly about your products or not like super product relevant, but it's about the niche as a whole. And when we explain this to clients and we tell them, just stand out of our way, We'll launch campaigns about the sleep niche, how to get your kids to fall asleep, how often you should wash your bed sheets, how to fall asleep, in a heat wave, and so on. Then we immediately have a fast lane approach to digital PR. Otherwise, if the client said, "Well, I want all of my legal team and all of our compliance and all of our 5 editors and everyone to approve, the email that goes out to journalists," and by the way, we still have a few of these clients are like, "Okay, let's go in a meeting and let's just explain again." We will not get the links if we try to be like the email should be perfectly following our tone of voice. Like nobody cares
No.
about that, right? So the easiest way for a client to ensure the campaigns are successful is just stay out of our way and trust us. We have Bad Kingdom .co.uk. They've been with us for like I think almost 3 years now. They just stood out of our way. If you look at their charts, they are dominating now. We got them like hundreds and hundreds of links because we could just execute without having to be afraid of their editorial team micromanaging the emails. And it's not the client's fault they do that. It's my fault. It's our fault because I wasn't good enough at the sales in the sales meeting to explain to them and set the right expectations. So the clients, kudos to them. They just want to do what they think is best, and it's on me to actually make sure this doesn't happen down the line.
Now, what if that client was saying, okay, they're doing their own research and they come up with like a sleep study and they said, we have all this unique data and they gave it back to you? Would that be the only example where it actually be helpful?
It would be helpful, but we would not guarantee that we would cover it. We would use
Right.
it for a campaign. We would take it and we would analyze it in the team, say, we got this great study from the client. Do you think it's got the potential in the next 2 months to get some links to the client because they paid for the invoice? Um, and and we might say, yes, this is great, we can add this angle and that angle and that angle to it. Or we can just say, well, I don't think this is newsworthy enough for us to be able to guarantee for the links.
Okay.
Because that's the thing, the risk is on us. If we don't get the links, we'll have to work for free and lose money on the campaigns, which, by the way, we do. If we choose the ideas, if we choose the campaigns, then the risk is on us. If we don't get the links, I'm sorry, we'll launch new campaigns free of charge. But if the client wants to control, the topic and the idea, then how can we have the risk and then have no control over what we
Right.
launch, right?
So maybe a perfect scenario would be to say, okay, hey, we've got this data, we share it over to you. And if you say you don't want to use it, then it's like, well, we know where we can use it on the channels
Yeah,
that we have influence on. Like, for example, my industry, where that
exactly.
it gave that example of like, the my affiliates covering that unique data set. I'm like, yeah, would
That's
would
perfect.
a would a journalist actually cover that? Maybe not, but maybe someone very deep in affiliate marketing or iGaming would.
Yeah, yeah, indeed, and that's all right. But we also have, just one client just came to us 2 days ago. They said they won an award and they want, just to like to distribute it wide. So we can say yes, if you provide us with with the content, we can put it in our, alien system and we can distribute it. So that's also an option for some of our clients who want to have their own stories. We can just distribute them at a lower price but with no links and like no placements guarantee. We just say we'll maximize the outreach as much as anyone can do, but we do not guarantee for any placements with with your case study. So that's also doable. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go another tangent, but it's still on point. iGaming Business, which is a conference in the iGaming industry, and they do events for affiliates, and they've got their own blog. They told me that they're always hungry for data because data leads to stories, and they're like, whatever you can do, like that example where I gave before about like all the top affiliate software in iGaming. They're like, we want that and more of it, and if you could give us that, we'll basically spin content around it all day. And they basically said stuff like this just resonates like the furthest for their audience. Um, would you say like this is kind of like more niche or a good example of going, well, this is an idea of how it can actually be amplified across any channel?
Yeah, I think that is more niche because the normal news outlets like New York Post or the Daily Mail or Express, which is our main pool of news outlets that we target with our pitches. they would not cover, they would not cover that consistently. So they might cover it once a year, but for us, because we have to deliver a campaign in like 2 or 3 months, we cannot rely on, like, maybe they will cover it 6 7 months down the line when some event is happening. We Right, so it's too niche for it to be used as a regular PR campaign. But it can be, if you pitch it to, if you use it, as you said, for another type of kind of outreach that's targeting more specific uh, kind of industries, then yeah, you can do that.
All right, 2 more questions. Do you have more room for another client, like me, for example?
Mhm. Yeah, we do. The start date now is 15 days from the invoice payment date. So even today I had a meeting and I said to, it was an iGaming client, by the way, crypto gaming. Um, Anyone who pays, anyone who joins today, we start the work 15 days um, from now, and then the delivery is about 8 to 12 weeks. So it can be 2.5 to, it can be earlier, but that's kind of the delivery. So we do have room. We hire aggressively again. We're just talking um, this month, no, this week, or with the management team. We had multiple, now we have multiple clients um, spending 70 grand or more per month with us, which is a lot of campaigns. And they want to do it for like the other client just confirmed they want to run it throughout the whole year with this budget. So we're like, we need to keep on high, we need to keep on pushing with this. Like, this is crazy. So we do have capacity, but it's, we have a staggered kind of start date.
Yeah. Well, it's a good problem to have. So, I've noticed the trend on the LinkedIn profile for search intelligence. It was like
Yeah,
at
I'm
least
always watch.
five people per quarter the last 2 years.
Yeah, yeah, and those are the people who report that they work at Search Intelligence on LinkedIn. So we have way more than, but that's kind of an accurate kind of trend. We did, we do hire. We had months when we hired 15 people, or like 10 people. So, but then
Awesome.
it comes with with the pains as well. We, the hyper growth, we don't make big profits. And I always say this in in podcasts. We are focusing on growth. When you hire, then you need to invest in new systems, invest in training, invest in lots of where it requires the money to go back into the business. So we are
Yeah.
operating on like almost no profit margin now, deliberately. But that's the price of hyperscaling, just growing, growing, growing.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Actually, there's one question we didn't get to, but I kind of want to ask it. And I had a chance to talk with one of the biggest gambling affiliates in the industry. And I said, why are you one of the top 1 to 2 people when there's other companies that they're bragging to be, let's say, I'm the 35th best. And it's like, why is that? Or like, what is your secret sauce? And his answer was like really obscure. It was like, no one has a long-term vision. And I was driving yesterday. So this was 9 months ago. And I was driving and I was listening to a podcast and someone was talking about they were doing something consistently over and over again. It was just basically a newsletter once a week. They're like, I never deviate from that. And he's like, no one has a long term vision. I was like, like I've heard this before. What is your comment on this?
Yeah, like consistency is key with business. And um I think for me it applies especially for selling. So when I was a smaller company, and when we were like a smaller company and I was just me and another one or two people, I had problems with the long term vision, because once I sold and we got like, I don't know, 10 grand in. Back then it was a good good budget. Then I stopped selling, I stopped marketing, because now we have some money, and then let's wait until the money wears out, and then let's keep on selling again. So I think consistency is key for everything. Like for me, consistency was just keep on getting clients on board, keep on selling, keep on creating interesting content, keep on being out there. And consistency kind of made us millions, because posting on LinkedIn every day, good content that you actually put effort in, even just to to come up with, like, um, the BBC kind of announced that oh, the UK is out of recession, and then I came up with like, oh, it was us. That requires effort to sit down and think and think and think. So content like that, posted every day is kind of what I can call consistency, and that I think that made us who we are so far.
And very quickly, what do you see as the future of affiliate marketing as it intersects with business intelligence?
Mm.
Maybe search intelligence. There's the
Yes,
answer.
yes, 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 yes. So, I mean, it's going to be more and more important. I think AI will play a massive role in this, business intelligence and affiliate marketing. I think AI will change everything, like all the analysis, all the insights that you have from data. It should not be a human who analyzes and summarizes and comes up with um, kind of the assessment of the data. I think AI should do the first legwork, and then the human should take over from there. I think AI is going to be a massive game changer in the industry, like a big one. Anyone who is not investing in AI and software systems that combine open AI APIs and all the other like Gemini and so on, if you don't invest in software systems with AI, you will die.
Okay, I'm gonna copy this clip, send it to my business partner, and we're gonna talk about this. How can people get a hold of you, Fery? Thanks a lot for doing this. So I'm gonna pass it
Just
back to you.
thank you. Just search for my name on Google, and then you find LinkedIn will be the first link because that's where
Okay.
everyone clicks when they Google me. And then I'm on YouTube, I'm on Twitter, and I even have a website, but like that's kind of abandoned, like ferrykaszoni.com, or the agency website, search-intelligence.co.uk. But yeah, LinkedIn is the first place to be for me.
I will add all of them. Thanks a lot for doing this.
Thank you for having me, and hopefully, we discussed something that helps somebody.
At least me.
Indeed.
Thank you for tuning in to the Affiliate BI podcast. I'd like to take this time to ask for a small favor to leave a rating and review wherever you listen to your podcast. That helps us expand our reach to rank higher in podcast directories and reach more listeners.